Hey, the goal today, Dr. Hillary and I are going through for our patients and our communities, because we have totally different practices and patients on either coast. I'm in Connecticut, Hillary's in California, but you all are suffering from the same chronic infections and immune system dysregulation. So we're coming together to just make sure everybody's totally prepped for fall and winter because we're already seeing problems. So today we're going to take a half an hour and really go through like these are the top things we're going to want you to have on hand because we don't have time to do this in our medical visits, right, Hillary? This is like one of our biggest issues is that we're problem solving with people. We're going through labs, we're doing their preventative medicine, we're trying to do longevity care, hormone care, mental health. We're trying to address so many things in these medical visits. But, if somebody is taken out with one of these viruses or bacterias, we have months of repair to do, and we just can't do it as a preventative medicine thing in the medical visit. So that's why we're here today.
And I'm excited to be here. I love working with Kara. So yeah, we have our separate practices and our project together is called Cultivate. So some of you are new to it and some of you are not, but that's why we do this. We have an upcoming program in October that we're going to tell you a lot about. And then for anybody that's part of our community, which is called the Empowered Wellness Collective, we're staying on after this talk to discuss some of the testing that we'll be doing included in our antiviral program. And our why for this is not just so that you're not missing days of school for your kids or missing work or unable to go to trips because you're sick or unable to live your life. Really, the bigger why is that what the research is showing and what we know in the post-COVID world that this series of like viruses that add up and stack up on us can contribute to changes in our long-term health. It can contribute to our brain function and our long-term if it, adding to dementia potential or Alzheimer's potential or our long-term physical challenges if we have recurrent viruses. So we want people to prevent getting sick. And then we want you, if you get sick, to clear it quickly. And if you know you're sick or getting sick, that you know what underlying viruses you have so that you're also treating those things in real time to prevent getting a long COVID, which is often a collection of old chronic viruses. So that's what we don't love. And what we don't love is when in our practices, when people come in and they're like, I've been sick for a month. And we're like, okay, it's harder for us to treat you if you've been sick for a month than if you come in the beginning, you test. I'm advocating that people test for things like, is it strep? Is it flu? Is it COVID? Because we do treat things specifically differently. But what we're going to go through today is just like the general prevention and many things that you've probably heard before, but we're trying to bring them back up to the forefront. Make sure that you have them in your home so you're prepared with you or your kids if you're starting to get exposed to things. And then please use us as if we're your doctors, call us ahead of early into your sickness so that we can really truly support you as individuals because often if you're into your third week of something, it's just too long, it's harder to heal.
Mhm. Yeah, I just got off a call with one of our, you know who I was talking to, one of our clients we work with, together with, who's like uh, a long-term person we've been working with together. And that person had COVID over 2 weeks ago. So now she's in the third week of still having a cough. So this is exactly the case where we would have liked to get in earlier and do the preventative work. So that's what we're doing with this particular patient of ours. But I want to hop on to a few things you said because that this is a different way of thinking, right? So generally speaking, in modern medicine, here's what we have. We have like a strep test. We have a flu test. We have these things for this chronic infection state we're in, right? So we test for very few things. And many times medicine does not have anything to do for that. So say you have a virus, you go in, they're like, it's a viral sinusitis. You have a viral infection. What do they say to do? It's like gargle with salt water, these kind of like sort of low
If
level
anything. Yeah.
interventions. Yeah, right. So what I really want to say, because it's a dynamic shift in thinking that is very important at this time in medicine in 2025, is that we have excellent antiviral remedies. Our medicine, herbal medicine, has years and years and years of treating these things, chronic infections, parasites. I mean, the amount of my old herbal texts that are dedicated to GI health and parasites and gallstones and all these things that we just don't even think about that we can actually treat. It's amazing how the herbal medicine's there to do it. So this really came to the forefront for me because here in Connecticut at Yale, there's a center for long COVID. And when people go there, they are diagnosing and seeing, okay, now the long COVID has brought up these underlying viruses in the people that they've maybe had mono in high school or a herpes outbreak in their 20s or whatever it is. And now it's stirring all those things up, but they don't have real treatments for it. So it's been really interesting to kind of look at those chart notes of the patients who are coming to me, and I'm saying, oh, that's so interesting. So they found this, let's do this. So we have protocols for these things. And I just want to make sure everyone hears that. So if there's, oh, it's a virus, there's nothing to do, that's not right. We need to get ahead of it. That's what Hillary and I are trying to do. And so this is not like the basic immune boost in the fall that we've been talking about all our careers. This is like we really need to build your immune shield this season because this season already we're seeing really big problems and it's just gotten out of hand, the immune dysregulation we're seeing. So, you know, not to use a common term from the news now, but it's more like, instead of like boost your immune system and doing this kind of defense thing, it's sort of like, what's our arsenal for war? Okay, I'm not going to say why I'm, it's like the War Department over here, right? We want to like get ahead of it and be like, no, no, these things cannot start growing. What are we going to do about it beforehand? So it's a really different way of thinking, right? Many times we would just say, go to sleep, do some hot showers, whatever it is, just give yourself rest to get rid of these things. It is no longer that advice that's adequate. It is like, what are you doing daily? What are you taking daily to get ahead of this so you don't get really sick?
So, okay, so if you haven't worked with your provider for a while, it's a great idea to get some testing done. What is your vitamin D level? That's something that we test. Um,
Mhm.
so we're going to talk about some things. We're not going to talk specifically about doses because we do like to individualize that. If you haven't had a test done of your vitamin D level, that's a good thing to just get done going into the winter. If you haven't done a genetic test, like do you need more vitamin D than the average person? Like some of this is just good information to understand about your immune system. But
Mhm.
so these are the basics. You've heard a lot of it before from us. We believe so much in, if not washing your hands, in washing your nose and keeping your throat clear. The throat is the keeper of all nastiness. So anybody can see in kids who have had mono or people who have had recurrent strep, or often since even COVID, some people have had a lot of tissue here that just gets enlarged. And we really want to fight that off. The more that you're doing to protect this tissue, and then this tissue, this is where you come up into the nose and then you get into the sinus. The sinus is very notoriously bad blood supply. So we want to just kind of keep that from going. We've been told ad nauseum to wash our hands. And what we believe is, in addition, is that you need to wash this area. So if you've been just sneezed on, if you've been on a flight and you are exposed to people coughing. I mean, any flight that you're on now, there's going to be COVID and flu. That's just how it is. Summer, so just so everybody knows, summer is the big COVID time. And so if you've just been sick, even if you didn't test positive, if you had a flu-like illness this summer, it was probably COVID. Okay. And people are getting multiple different kinds of COVID. So some like I had COVID in Europe a while ago, so it couldn't have had it again. And lo and behold, yes, people are testing positive again because there's now different strains of COVID. Okay. But what we want, you've seen it before, you've heard it before, we're broken records because it works. So the amount of patients that have told us, like the stuff that you told us works, like it actually really can help. Okay.
Mhm.
You're rinsing your nose. So I have it in my office. Somebody sneezes in my office. I rinse my nose that day. I'm strep culturing or around somebody sick. I am happy to treat sick people. And what do? I rinse my nose and then I clean my throat. And these are herbs that are things don't like to live when you're spraying alcohol and golden seal and propolis and some echinacea on it. Things, this Xlear, and Kara even uses a red one sometimes when she has allergies, but like it's got xylitol, it makes it hard for the critters to stick into the tissue. And if you did nothing else, if you do these things, this will prevent a lot of you getting sick. So if nothing else, have it in your kids' backpacks. Like you can buy multiple things, have them around. If you have an old, nasty, janky one, get a new one. Like use it regularly.
Mhm.
Inhale it. When you do it, you inhale and get it up into the tissue. It will make your nose run. You will be blowing out your nose. That's the concept. You're blowing
Mhm.
out the critters. So that's just like straight up physical medicine that works. And that's the saltwater gargling too. Like saltwater gargling is magic because it makes it hard for the critters to live in the salt water and you're actually shrinking the tissue. What we don't want is for the tissue to get really boggy. That's when it's like gets kind of big and gross and swollen when you feel really swollen. That's just like a perfect setup for critters to multiply and replicate. So we want to keep things tight and toned and and not able to catch in and replicate
Yeah, so Michelle's right on our page on this with the Xlear. She said because we recommended this last year to
for
everybody, and it
years.
really, yeah, it really does help, you know. And so keeping that around, I like to people to keep it in their car, you know, so they're on the drive home from work or after they pick the kids up from school and they can just do it. And it's 2 squirts per nostril, and then you inhale. So squirt, squirt and get it really back there because the viruses replicate in the nasopharynx, which is really deep right in the back there. And if you coat it with this Xlear, it could potentially really make it so they never get a start in the body. It's real preventative medicine. It's kind of amazing.
And
Um,
if you're on a flight, just every hour, every half an hour, you can just use it repeatedly, so that you're just making it so it's hard to stick.
so mine has cayenne in it. It's the same company. It's on full script too if you want to try the cayenne one, but we don't recommend that for everybody because it's a little bit of an up
It's a
level.
little spicy.
It's a little spicy, but it really does work. It's an excellent anti-inflammatory. And if you tend toward like nosebleeds and stuff like that, the cayenne one actually does work really well for tightening up blood vessels, etc. And so that's the one I use, but I don't recommend that for everybody. So just get the basic one that we wrote there. But that's if you see the red on the label, that's cayenne. Be careful. Don't give that to your kids. That would be
They won't
awful.
love you. Um,
Um, Go ahead.
Another potent treatment that's very old school is using an essential oil steam. Again, is a very topical treatment. When we were in microbiology lab, many of you have heard us say this before, we were growing out bacteria and we were trying different antibiotics on the bacteria, and the essential oils kicked their butt. Like it just, they work. But
Mhm.
the whole concept is early is so much easier than late. So if you have a kid in the house that's sick, if somebody's been sneezing all over the show in your home, then grab one of the essential oil. Eucalyptus works. If you have not eucalyptus, you could use thyme, you could use oregano oil. The thing about oils that you have to be conscientious about is they will burn you. I burned my eyeballs in naturopathic medical school. So excited to use thyme oil. I'd never used it before. More is better, 6 drops or something. I put my eyeballs in, open eyes. I totally singed my eyes. They were burned. So you have to be really careful. But when used judiciously, they're incredible medicines. You can put them into a little not boiling, but hot water, the vapor, you towel over the vapor and breathe. That's going to get into your sinuses. Or another great way to do it is just in the shower. You put a few drops on the shower floor, you put a few drops on the shower hardware, if it's not like a rain shower, and that's the steam and everything. You get a little bit of a eucalyptus, you're inhaling it, and that's helping to clean out your tissue. It like tonifies, and it is an on target antiviral, antimicrobial.
Yeah, so I think that's really the very best way is just to keep the essential oil in your bathroom. Put like a few drops in the corner of your shower so when the steam and comes up, the water hits, the steam rises, you're getting those essential oils and you can inhale. I think that's one of the best things to do with it because you just don't really have to do anything. You're taking a shower anyway, right?
I'm
I just
just
want to
laughing. I'm
say
not sure if you noticed this is the biggest water bottle of all time. I have no idea why I have such a big water bottle that I can't even hold, but that's what's
for
happening.
your big muscles, you're getting strength while I'm picking up your water. Okay, the echinacea comment is really important. Hillary and I talked about this
Can you
before.
read
That's
it?
why, yep, that's why there's a note in full script on this plan. Echinacea is a really excellent herb that has wonderful research on boosting immune response, but it also is in the same plant family as ragweed, which is a common allergen, and it is a common allergen, echinacea. So if you take echinacea and you get a rash, that's likely an immune system response that's a allergy response. But if you have a ragweed allergy, that propolis spray with the echinacea, or there's a combo product in there for your immune response. It has echinacea in it too. You don't really want to take those. So if you want an alternative for the nasal or for the throat spray, you could just be doing a saltwater gargle. A warm saltwater gargle is excellent for tightening up the tissue in the throat and being antiviral. So you could just do that. But it
And
is
there are
important.
other like propolis only throat sprays, if you do a search for throat sprays. This one we've used for a long time and it tastes disgusting, but
It does.
and I just if you're using a throat spray, you gotta like you can't just like spray here. You gotta like get in, and that's why people in their you if you have a bigger family, everyone should have their own. Like these are personal products. Because
Definitely the nasal sprays. I mean, when someone else
because
uses it is not okay. You have to throw
you're
that.
really getting in and you're trying to spray your tonsil. Like you're spraying the back of your throat, not the tongue, the back of the throat. So like it should really be a personal product. Okay, can we
Yeah.
talk about echinacea in this product? This is on the full script link as well. And this is a product called Super Bio Vegetarian. It's the weirdest name. This is a very old school product, like one of the oldest naturopathic companies going around, and it's formulated brilliantly. But
Hmm.
it does also have echinacea in it. Okay, so if you're not an echinacea person, this has it's in this, but this has vitamin C and zinc, bioflavonoids, echinacea, garlic, quercetin, and then a list of antiviral and antimicrobial herbs with a little cayenne pepper kick. Okay, and the cayenne pepper is known to kind of like help the herbs move around the body. So this is great for both prevention and for treatment. So if you want to take, um, uh, this serving size is 3 doses. The way I do it for me, and we would individualize and tailor this for specific patients. Okay, so but for me, I tend to take one or two throughout this week if needed, and then if I get sick, I up it, right? So that tends to be the way that we think about prevention. You're taking vitamin C, you're taking your vitamin D in the winter, you're doing your nasal sprays, and then if you get sick, you are upping your doses for a short term. and really trying to treat more acutely. And you're going to take more of this. What we like about it is it's got a combination of antimicrobial. A lot of times when you get sick in the beginning, you don't know if you have a virus or if you have strep, or, it's like it can take a minute. So we like herbs because it does everything. I mean, it's why, like, upon your first fever, we're not taking antibiotics because we don't know if you have a bacterial infection, right? But the herbs work on both things. And the herbs work on underlying fungal infections or underlying parasites as well. The herbs are working in multiple systems. So that's why we like having a good herbal medicine on hand that you can quickly upregulate.
Right. And it's worth going like high level again because some people got on a little bit later. What we're talking about is 20 years ago when Hillary and I started doing this work. We didn't used to have our folks taking things daily for their immune system starting in the fall and through winter. But what we're going through today is things we really want most of our patients to be taking on a regular basis to prevent getting sickness fall, winter this year. This is a different approach because we've seen such problems with subsequent infection. This infection brings out this infection, brings out this infection, and then we're just constantly fighting, and our immune systems are really having problems. So we've seen more and more data on childhood illnesses can trigger schizophrenia. So we do want our children on immune preventatives. It can trigger, and we've seen these things in our practices, so that's why I'm talking about it. Like sicknesses triggering diabetes coming on. Had a child with that. Um, just regular viruses triggering OCD and anxiety disorders in people. It can cause brain inflammation. That's what Hillary was talking about with dementia, Alzheimer's risk. We're seeing that people who take the vaccine for shingles um, actually get less cardiovascular risk. Is that because the vaccine's super awesome? No, it's because shingles can cause such a degree of inflammation in the body and in our nervous systems that it actually has an impact on cardiovascular health. And so, if we could just build our immune systems up so we don't have our immune system go down and have the herpes virus, which is shingles, come up, which was, we all maybe had chicken pox when we were younger, we could avoid those kinds of potential problems. So we do think this is really serious, and we want to make sure that people know, what am I doing daily to support our immune health? And that's why we have this list of supplements for you all to consider taking. Of course, anyone can be allergic to any herb or any form of a vitamin or whatever it is. So you want to look at it and decide what's appropriate for you. But we also have a 10-day protocol coming up where we're really setting you up with all of the lifestyle factors, the diet, and the simple things you can do daily to support your immune health, because it's not just about taking supplements. I think we all want to do that at some point in our lives, just, burn the candle at both ends, not get enough sleep, be under stress, accomplish lots of things, maybe get a bunch of takeout to eat, maybe drive ourselves on caffeine and sugar. I mean, I'm talking to Hillary because we've done all of these things ourselves. And then we want to take vitamins and some things to, balance that out. It never works. So we do have to do the lifestyle things. We do have to make good choices. In our days also. So that's what the 10-day program is about. And anyone in our collective, you're automatically registered. So you don't have to register, you're automatically in it. But anyone else who's on the call who wants to look at it, somebody will put the link if you just want to look at the 10-day, which is in October.
I'm doing it starting October 15th. And that's when we really deep dive teas, broths, all different kinds of ways to support yourself for the short term and the chronic. So it's really good to do a reset. If you're newer to our practices or you aren't part of our collective, which is when we do these 3 times a year, this is an excellent program. Okay, back to the prevention. So in our list, in that full script list, we also have a mushroom powder. Many people are making smoothies. Many of our patients are using creatine or collagen or other things. Using a mushroom powder can be something that's really helpful. These mushrooms are very impactful at turning on the immune system and working as an like almost as adaptogens. They help to upregulate when needed, and they help to kind of downregulate if the immune system's a little crazy. The mushrooms are just these really lovely, supportive, immune, almost tonics, but they're very effective. And so there's a powder in there that you can take in powder form. So not everything feels like you're taking capsules. I think part of what we like to do is just integrate things into your life. It's
Mhm.
easier to do if you have habits that you form. So adding the mushroom powder into a tea or a coffee or a smoothie can be really helpful.
And the mushrooms are really strong immune stimulants. There's tons of research. This is a blend of mushrooms that you just put a little bit in your smoothie and it goes away. You don't even taste it. But there's so much research for anti-cancer and longevity and protecting all kinds of our systems that having mushrooms on a regular basis is a really great approach to protecting our immune systems. But what's awesome about it is that you don't have to do it daily. It's 3 times a week is what the data shows that to keep that immune system strong. So you don't even have to put in your smoothie every day. You can just put a little some in 3 times a week and you can give it to your family because most people are not allergic to mushrooms, but there are people who are. But anyway, I think that's just so easy and such a smart thing to do because they're really, really potent, and the amount of research papers on mushrooms is outrageous.
And
It's
we'll be
incredible.
in the protocol, we'll be making mushroom broths showing
Right. We have all
really
that.
love using shiitake and maitake and some of these really potent reishi mushrooms
Mhm.
as your medicine, your food as medicine, but this powder kind of biohacks it.
And it's the only plant source there really is for vitamin D. So it's pretty awesome for just a little extra vitamin D in our plant-based diets. Mushrooms are great. So a really easy way to get it in. I really highly recommend having that at your house. That's a very simple thing to add into your daily life. We didn't talk about the Tulsi peppermint tea we have in here, but part of the immune system problem we're seeing is that everyone is on just this stress, accomplish everything, really productive mode. We just are. We're that way in our culture. And we don't have a ton of downtime to really have a peaceful, calm nervous system where we can get into parasympathetic and heal our bodies. And so that's part of the way the Tulsi peppermint tea works is it is calming to the nervous system, and that's how it's really addressing your immune response. And having a cup of tea makes you stop, right? Having a little ritual in your day makes you really like connecting with yourself. You have to boil the water, you have to let it steep, you have a few minutes to yourself. That can be a great thing to add into your routine.
The one of the most potent minerals and or vitamins that's used for immune support is zinc. Zinc is a very hard um, thing to absorb when we are stressed. It actually takes like a good amount of stomach acid, and your digestive tract has to be in good shape to pull zinc. And our soil, our what we're eating is just not as strong. Zinc is in in a lot of animal foods. So if people are eating vegetarian or more vegan or whatever, there's a lot of zinc deficiencies that we see. And Kara and I usually test for our patients red blood cell zinc at some point to see, are you absorbing this wildly important immune vitamin and uh, mineral. And so zinc is something that we tend to give our patients if they are sick. So you'll see it in this formula. Zinc will make you feel like you are nauseous like crazy if you take zinc on an empty stomach. Do not give children zinc on an empty stomach, and do not take it on. It is never worth it. It is, it feels terrible. It will make your kid feel like they're more having morning sickness or something horrible. Don't do it. But it's really good with food. And what we like to do is pair it with vitamin C and quercetin. And so we have a product called Allercy. This is again an old school formula that's been
It
used
is.
by natural. I mean, since we were in med school, we've been using Allercy, just good old Allercy. It's vitamin C, quercetin, and some bromelain. And the quercetin works with the zinc to let the zinc go into the nucleus of the cell, which is where cellular replication is happening. So viruses move into your cells and they manufacture your own cells to work for them. And they start pumping out more viral replication using your cells. It's a fully
Mhm.
hijacking your
Yeah.
cellular health. And so the zinc gets into the nucleus and the membrane and it stops that process. And so that's why zinc is such an important part of immune health. And when we have kids who are zinc deficient or adults who are zinc deficient, any child with an eating disorder is likely to be zinc deficient. And again, people who tend towards veganism, vegetarianism, if kids are picky eaters, we just want to make sure there's enough in their diet. And so if patients come to us and they're like, I'm getting sick all the time, we're
Mhm.
definitely looking at their vitamin D level, their zinc level. Oh, look, your zinc is like, we have some patients where, they're well below the range, and that can often be a bigger issue that we're trying to unpack. Like, are you eating it? Are you absorbing it? But so these are the longer term talks that we're having. But in the short term, you just want to make sure that you're getting some zinc on board and with food. And short term, zinc is higher zinc supplementation. We do shorter term. So this is another thing that you're doing short term, but it pairs really well with the vitamin C and the quercetin and the nettles. So that's the allergy and the zinc together.
Mhm. Okay, so now we're just switching gears. So that is a lot on what we want people to have as their immune defense at their house. This is what we want you to have on hands and really get on top of things before they become problems is the message for this fall winter season. So now we're going to switch gears, and all the collective folks that are on here are going to just stay on, right, Hillary? Are we and we're gonna go through what we're doing in this October protocol for you all on lab testing. So,
And so, if for anyone who's confused, Dr. Kara and I, not everybody
mhm,
understands, we run something called the Empower Wellness Collective, which is a monthly group. We meet monthly, we do deeper dives on health topics. So, we are running this 15-day program for everybody. We hope all of our patients pop in. And for the people in the collective, we're doing some deeper diving, some viral testing, making sure that you don't have looking at your viral load. So we're having a layered conversation. So that's what that is. If you're interested in joining our collective, we would love to have you join. It's a great time to join because you the program is included in anybody that's doing in the collective. So that's what we're speaking about. Sometimes we speak over people and we're not trying to, it's not an exclusion, but we just have a group that we deep dive with. And that's
mhm,
what we're doing. The 15-day the immune protocol that's coming up starting October 15th, that's available for anybody. Share it with your cousins, your friends. If you feel like you have coworkers who get sick frequently, that is like a everybody should do it that like this is something that is just basics of health. There's nobody that we run the program on that doesn't walk away and go, oh my God, I didn't realize that sugar was really dragging me down. Or, oh, I didn't realize like I just
mhm,
wasn't eating very many vegetables, or I didn't realize I could eat some of these herbs and use some of these strategies to help my immune system. It's all devoted to eating and lifestyle to support your immune health. And again, we do these in programs because Kara and I can't on every visit with patients. I feel bad. Sometimes I'm like the naturopathic doctor that never talks about diet on an actual visit with my patients, which makes
no,
no sense
it's very
because we're
hard.
just doing their prescriptions and their hormones and their this and their that and their
Mhm,
and so these programs are really like the through line for our practices, and that's why we love doing them together. Just we bring our different experiences. So that's coming up October 15th. We like everybody to be signed up sooner rather than later so that you can get all the information, you can get the shopping list, you can be ready to go through it. And if you've done one program with us, it's always great to do it again because you'll get different layers. So that's what's happening there. And then for our Empowered Wellness Collective tribe, we're all staying on to learn about the testing that we're going to do for you all in the deeper dive of the program. And so if you're hearing this and you're like, I want to be in their tribe, just message and we will get you all set up to do that because we want you with us. It's a great group and we're doing really fun things.